Welcome to This Week in Guns, a podcast that covers the commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. Brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN. You make this show possible. That's right, you simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. Great panel this week. We have John Patton back from the Gun Collective and Patton Media Consulting. Hey, John.
Hey, Jake. How are you, brother?
Doing great. Ebbs from House of Guns and House of Arms, and minus the hair. Hey, Ebbs.
Hey, it's good to be back.
It's like a whole new Ebbs.
A whole new Ebbs.
Same Ebbs. Just you can see my face.
You know, I believe at one point we had feedback from a listener or something about never trusting a man with a ponytail or something like that, or a man bun.
It's a man bun. Yeah, it's a man bun.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? If he wants to come out in Colorado and be at a mile high with the heat we've had this summer and wear a wool rug on your head 24/7, then he can compare notes with how I chose to keep my hair off of my neck.
Billy Johnson, president of Boxer Tactical and retired video blogger at Amidst the Noise. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Jake. How you doing, man?
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised, especially on live shows. Any word on how that Facebook feed is looking?
I shared it. Give me 2 seconds and I'll verify.
Patriot Patch helps make this episode possible. We have new AR-15 M4 cleaning mats in stock. I'll actually go grab one sometime during the show and show you guys later, but it turned out really good. Really awesome AR-15 cleaning mats over at patriotpatch.co. Also, the miniature bullet bill patch and pre-order over there. And now we have gift cards. We switched our website, and now we have the ability to sell gift cards for, for your mom or dad for Christmas. Anyone that might want cool T-shirts or patches, but you don't know exactly what to pick out, you can give them a gift card. And it's also compatible with Apple Wallet as well. So patriotpatch.co.
That's neat, Jake.
Looking good, John?
Yeah, Facebook's good to go, brother.
Very cool. Top stories this week. Start with positive news. 91-year-old shoots armed robber in the neck.
Oh, in the neck.
Occurred outside a pharmacy, a Rite Aid, in Michigan, so up towards Billy. And, the victim, he was getting out of his car. It was, in the middle of the day, 10:15 a.m. He was approached by a guy, 30 years of age, who was acting erratically and threatening in the parking lot. So the older gentleman, he got back in his car, locked himself in, and waited for the guy to leave. The guy left, and then the old guy thought it was okay to get out and go into the Rite Aid. Well, the guy confronted him right in front of the store and had some type of scrap steel, something he raised, some jagged steel he raised, and that's when the old guy pulled out his revolver and shot the guy in the neck.
That's brutal.
The guy ran away though, so I guess they caught him a little bit later and took him to the hospital.
I feel like the verbiage of being shot in the neck is akin to being stabbed.
Yeah.
The sound, shot in the neck, would-be robber shot in the neck, would-be robber stabbed upon entering home of elderly man. Feels the same in my gullet.
Well, think about it. You get shot in the arm, shot in the leg, shot in the neck. Oh.
I got a lot of important stuff in there.
I know there's not much room to not hit something important, right?
Right.
All right.
I'm gonna Monday morning quarterback this guy. Please, for those of you out there listening, please don't announce that you have a concealed pistol license and then go hide and wait for somebody. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, he gave this guy plenty of warning.
Right.
Both encounters.
Why is that a bad idea, John?
Well, because if you're going to your car and you're just sitting there waiting for this dude to do whatever he's going to do, you basically just said, "Hey, dude, I've got a gun," and you've upped the ante without even trying. You basically just said, "I have a gun," without doing anything. I would liken that to racking a shotgun in a threatening manner.
I think for a lot of average people, that's probably the first thing they may say is, "I've got a gun, leave me alone." Or
Hey, I'm not a trainer. I might be wrong, but in my head, that's a bad idea.
I didn't say it was a good idea.
I think a lot with this case, though, is the fact that it was a 91-year-old man. So, call me crazy, but I bet there was a lot of leeway given him when law enforcement looked at the situation.
Probably.
That would just be my guess.
Well, and you see what the see what the prosecutor said about this. He said this gentleman's action were entirely appropriate use of force. This is a textbook case for why concealed pistol licenses are issued in the first place.
And this was Rite Aid. I'm assuming there's video. All these major drugstores like this are going to have video all over the place. So I would assume that law enforcement also looked at video to see that this, the suspect did have some type of weapon.
So out of the positive news into the main stories, Under Armour dumps hunters. Hunters return the favor. Question of the day is spear hunting a bear ethical? And Bomar speak out on Under Armour ban. Why even have a hunt brand if you're not going to support hunters?
I liked that question because in my opinion, they can choose to sponsor people or not sponsor people or do whatever, and people can just choose not to buy the stuff. I mean, Under Armour isn't a hunting company. They have a hunting brand. They're not necessarily a gun-friendly company. But they appeal just because if you've ever used Under Armour stuff, it's freaking awesome. And I don't say that in defense necessarily of them or the Bomars. I met the Bomars at SHOT Show by chance. One morning I was waiting for John at the bottom of the escalator in the Venetian, and they rolled up to this little breakfast shop that was right there.
That's the guy you were talking to?
Yeah.
Wow, I remember that.
Full circle, right? And I mean, so he's the dude's a freak. I mean, he's every bit of 6'3", maybe 6'4", and built like a Greek god. Like, he's worked out hard since he was like 14, and he does figure competitions, bodybuilding competitions, and lifting competitions, and all this stuff. So the dude, like, he speared a bear on the ground, right? How many of us would be like, yeah, I'd like to spear hunt a bear as long as I was in a tree stand? You know what I'm saying? And
go ahead, Ed. So I was just going to say about the spearing thing, right? Like, when the anti-hunting crowd always goes after hunters and they're like, oh, to make it fair, why don't you go out there and wrestle with the bear with your bare hands? Okay, he had a spear. Like,
using technology, why it's not fair? Why don't you level the playing field?
Right. And
he does, which is perfect, and it takes the bear a little while to die. Well, how much more would they have liked it if it would have been videoed and he'd have went up and pulled the spear out and knifed the thing a dozen more times? Is that not more gruesome, or is that only okay in Tarantino films?
Well, and I'm going to say, if you buy meat in the grocery store, you have no ground to stand on, because unless you have ever been to a slaughterhouse and seen how animals on a large scale are slaughtered, and you want to say that this is somehow less humane, a bear in the wild and someone hunting it,
yeah.
I mean, you just have no ground to stand on. You haven't seen how food is produced.
Well, and it's multiple ways, too. If you've ever been to a butcher shop of any way or a slaughterhouse, some will use like a small rimfire 22 pistol, like right to the skull, and if it's not a perfect location, the animal like dies an agonizing death, and they just don't waste the ammo because they know it'll die eventually. There's electrocution that is used. There's bloodletting, basically, so it's like full slash to the throat. animal falls to the ground, basically bleeds out everywhere, so all the blood is pumped out of the animal by its own heart, which is a different process. And that's all that stuff is 100% legal, and that's not even to draw attention to the conditions that that animals are kept in order to be, if you're talking about dairy farms and poultry factories, where we get your beautiful white eggs, the bleach white eggs that are have the yolks that are some shade of yellow.
Yeah, go see how turkeys are raised.
Oh.
I encourage anyone to go see how many
turkey
turkeys are crammed into a building.
Nasty.
Yep.
You know what's funny? You brought up eggs. I think when most people see like natural eggs, they go, "Oh, that must be something's wrong with that," because it looks completely different.
Yeah, and they're lumpy. The shells are thick and hard and they're not smooth at all. And the turkeys are a perfect example because you're talking about an animal that's designed to weigh no more than 25 to 30 pounds, 30 pounds at an absolute maximum, and they're packing 50 pounds on these animals, and they can barely walk. Some of them don't. They just stand or roll to the side. And that's truth. That's just truth in existence.
And somehow bear hunting is unethical.
Sorry, go ahead.
I did a piece on this in this week's TGC News, and what I said was I liken this type of rhetoric to the same nonsense about, oh, you're allowed to have guns, but you're not allowed to have that kind of gun because I don't like that kind of gun. Oh, you're allowed to go hunting, but you can't go that kind of hunting because I say that's not okay. And the people that are bitching about this the most are people that don't even live in the United States. Oh, the Americans are brutal. It's the same crowd that complained about killing a lion, that complained about killing a giraffe and feeding people.
What about, can't forget, Harambe?
D's out for Harambe.
So, truthfully, the funny thing is about the Bomars, they've been such staunch advocates because of their heavy-duty fitness lifestyle. They publish their recipes and things like that, and a good portion of what they eat is game. So deer, antelope, and bear recipes.
That wasn't even brought into this argument.
No, they have published. Like you're talking about, it's being made out to look like he just killed a bear for the savagery of it, and they don't like use all usable parts of the animal, especially the meat. And the funny thing is, people don't like about bear meat because they're omnivores. They don't think about the ability of being to eat bear. And I don't know if you guys have ever eaten bear meat before, but bear meat it's very tender, and it basically just takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it with. So there's no gamey flavor to bear at all. It's actually kind of bland, but it has good texture to it. So you can cook bear meat with any number of seasonings, pair it with things like gravy and mashed potatoes and, all the stuff that I would love to have in front of me right now. I could just start like a grocery list for everyone. But as a standard, folks they don't think of a bear as an animal that you would eat or could eat, and it's actually so versatile because it doesn't have a ton of flavor. It's more of a texture type meat.
So bringing this back to Under Armour, I went on Facebook and I said, listen, I'm taking a hard stance. I am not going to support any retailer that is selling Under Armour clothing. And people are like, why would you say something like that? That's ridiculous. I said, listen, my goal is nothing more than to hurt Under Armour where it's going to hurt them most. It's going to hurt them in the wallet. So if all these major retailers take, like Midway USA, if they stop selling Under Armour because of something like this, by taking a hard stance and supporting hunters, suddenly Under Armour goes, oh, damn, we just lost a whole bunch of money, and maybe they get their S together.
But this should also be a perfect example for people when big brands come along and they see there's money to be made in the shooting sports or hunting market, and they come along and they say, we're going to develop a hunting line, right? This is proof Under Armour never supported hunting. They never cared about it. For them, it was just an opportunity to make some money. As soon as they get a little pushback, right? Not even a lot of pushback. There was a little pushback. All of a sudden, they drop the whole thing. They don't want anything to do with it.
So
that should tell you right there, they could care less
about
hunting.
Don't you almost think like they saw it and them seeing it, they freaked out before there was even any outcry? They're like, oh my god, how could we allow that? They didn't even sponsor him. They sponsored his wife.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's rewind to here and explain really what happened for those that may not know. So Josh Bomar took a hunting video of himself spearing a bear. His wife is sponsored by UA Hunt, Under Armour Hunting, and some social justice safe space warrior decided that she was going to start a petition, and with less than 5,000 signatures, Under Armour dropped the sponsorship of the wife of the guy who did this. And this is where there's outrage in our community. And again, I covered this last week in TGC, and what was really interesting to me is the varying opinions about this. Like, he just let the bear bleed out. That's not ethical.
Yes, because that's what happens when you hunt.
But hold on. I think it's a lot of people, one, that don't hunt, two, that don't understand, or three, just don't care. And it's that same BS when, like, hunters, a lot of traditional hunters would be like, oh, I don't use AR-15s, so I don't care what happens to the regulations. The same crap just happened. Oh, I don't spear hunt, I don't bear hunt, I don't do whatever that context is, so I don't care. It doesn't directly affect me, so I don't care. And that is the biggest load of crap that I've ever seen out of our community. Guys that were not willing to go to bat for this guy and take a hard stance in support of hunters because of that.
And it's the same attitude towards people in the South that hunt hogs with hounds and a Bowie knife. I don't know if you've seen like this thing. Corner, the hounds latch on, you get in there like when the pig doesn't have its attention on you, and you just cut its throat. Which is going to be
pigs, so it's okay, right?
Right, because pig's a livestock animal, and they don't have feelings or children at home, which, whatever. But honestly, to see somebody do what everyone who has always said, well, why don't you even the playing field? Like, why do you need all this technology to hunt the animals? He does, and they don't understand this. If you're whitetail deer hunting and you're using archery equipment, and you have a broadhead on your arrow, whether it be a fixed blade or an expandable, and it passes through the vital organ zone, so a kill zone on a deer, the deer runs off. The difference is like deer behave differently because they're a flight animal compared to a bear, which a bear has a pretty gruesome death moan anyway, even if you make a good shot on them. And I've had an affinity for hunting shows for a long time, which feels kind of ridiculous, but I always just I feel like I'm going someplace with someone, especially if they're a good storyteller. So you see these people hunting bears, especially all over Canada, and good rifle shots if they don't drop right there, good bow shots, the bear will run off, and you can hear it just moo, just this moan as it's dying. It's like this really emotional death. Like, come on, you're a bear, for crying out loud. Like, bear up or whatever. So why do you have to make that sound while you're dying? You were beaten. And gosh, I don't feel like we should give more ammunition, but do folks even realize that in Canada, like places like this, it's legal to bait bears in, like to take rotten intestines of cattle and livestock and things, and food that's gone like sour but it's really appealing smell to them, to bring them in so you don't have to like track them and find where they are and such, and nobody has a problem with that. Like, I grew up in Missouri. Billy, you're in Michigan. Baiting's legal in Michigan. You can have a corn feeder out for a deer, behind your house or whatever. If a deer comes into it and you shoot, Ted Nugent is a huge advocate for baiting, right? He's baited in states where it's illegal. But having grown up where I did in the Midwest, that was huge no-no. I had friends in high school that got busted by the conservation department for having feeders like off their back deck in their backyard and killing deer off of that on the first day of the season and such. And but I mean, it just comes down to whatever the game departments decides is a legal mean. And I think this is probably the end of this argument because we beat it to death. But what he did was a legal means of taking a bear there. Just people couldn't handle the reality of how the bear died as a result of it. So Under Armour can go sit on it, but their stuff works too. By the way, I don't even. It's a real shame about it. So go if you're a hunter.
It's made in Vietnam by 8-year-olds. So there you go.
There's our do good work.
Our honestly American guy speaking up.
Court refuses Texas professor's attempt to block campus carry. So
is this related to handing out dildos? Is this the same story?
Should I read all the headlines?
I mean, I feel like awkward about all of these headlines. Just
all right, these headlines are terrible.
Dildo.
Right, warning: if there's children in the car, in the room, you may want to
usher them out immediately. What?
So I'll give you five seconds here, and let you.
We already said it, bro. It's game over.
Okay.
You warned about live shows at the beginning of the broadcast.
Yeah, but I mean, they could be listening in the car on the podcast and everything.
If the people that listen to this show understand that it's recorded live, and the ones that tune in to it live, like the 23 people that do it because of this type of thing that can happen, and then we go off on it, and then you start cry laughing and like can't stop us because you don't have the wherewithal or the control to be able to get a hold of things.
All right, get a hold of this. 4,500 dildos for a crowd of hundreds at gun control rally. Students for concealed carry embraces UT dildos, so to speak. A report from UT Cox Not Glocks anti-campus carry protest and UT anti-campus carry dildo protest. Pretty much what you'd expect.
Jake, did you just like break a bunch of religious rules by reading that?
Reading Cox Not Glocks. Awful.
That's our next T-shirt.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, the court refused. A couple professors filed a suit trying to get an injunction, a preliminary injunction on this campus carry, but the federal judge refused to issue it, and now all the anti-gunners, are coming out of the woodwork, and they held this huge rally down in University of Texas. And the photos speak for themselves.
I can't take these people seriously.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably part of the point, right? Because of the absurdity of it, it gets more attention, and it brings more attention to their cause. I think kind of worked. We're talking about it.
Yeah. Billy, did you trim your beard down?
I did. Thanks for noticing, Ed. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Thanks. I like the changing of the subject immediately.
Yeah. It's finding too much food in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Too much bear meat?
Mm-hmm.
Honey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Eating chicken wings was really getting nasty, yeah.
I'm kind of bummed, though. It was really epic proportions where it was.
Hey, are we just gonna let this happen?
Not like
it can be back. It can be back there in like 2 months. Trust me.
Okay. Well, so there's
So we're just gonna let this happen.
On Facebook, there's the live feed floating around about, and I watched part of it. It was a news station out of Austin or whatever, and they're interviewing a girl. She's a junior at this college, and
she's got a model of her boyfriend's thing next to her.
Dude.
What
her boyfriend, half elephant.
Well, anybody that's seen that immediately just started laughing because of what I just said.
But I guess the thing that really struck me was the certainty of, and then the reporter really had an opportunity to ask for facts and for her to back up like these falsities that and like misinformation that she's spreading and being allowed to spread on whatever this news station was. And I would assume, because, and Bill, you would know more about this than I do, but in terms of like network TV and FCC regulations and stuff like that, that's not something that they would put like on live evening news or something like that with giant black dildos and stuff. Any idea at all?
I can't. I mean, I don't know all the FCC
but
rules.
Like for their Facebook page, I mean, it appeared to have been a live feed for this Fox Channel's Facebook page, and she's interviewing her, and this girl is saying, well, it's proven. They've proven that sexual assaults, the chance of being sexually assaulted is dramatically increased when firearms are more readily available. Like,
what?
Right. And so, as if to say, somebody who has gone through the trouble of being fingerprinted, photo taken, background check for CCW, like record checks for DUI, all of these things, and whatever Texas's regulations for, I think those are called CHLs. That those are the people that she should legitimately be afraid of. That the people that are carrying a gun to protect themselves and probably others are the ones that are going to be predators. And
you know what's going to make a difference? A 4-foot giant dildo on the table. I would just like to also point out in the same breath that one of the TGC Facebook fans is saying, my mom from Upper Michigan is visiting me here in Iowa, and we're enjoying your live show. Hi, in the middle of the dildo story.
Hi, Mom.
And I'm in northern Michigan, Mom.
Yeah.
Man.
Thanks for visiting.
Amazing.
These are Jake's favorite kind of stories.
No.
So hopefully you can
absolutely
tune
not.
in every week. And these are the opinions, or the express written consent of the Firearms Radio Network.
You're breaking up. Okay, so moving on. Are we done? Are we done?
Are you done? You let the chicken
hold on.
thing happen.
Let's say the whole reason that these rallies happened was supposedly they were proving the absurdity that students could carry, because they enabled campus carry, that students could carry a firearm, but they can't carry sex toys on their person. Like, whatever, there's some law stating that they can't carry these things, but they can carry a gun, as if they have similarities. And so that was how all of this like controversy and outrage and the demonstration, like, we've become such a protest generation. If you don't like something or something offends you, protest it. Like, let's forget about just letting people have the freedom to choose for themselves and do what they want. If something is irritating to me or offends me, I'm gonna protest it. I'm gonna hand out all of these things, toys, to prove that we can, or I'm gonna block a highway or whatever.
I want to know who paid for the dildos.
Yeah, did you think that too?
Yeah, because I'm like, that actually probably cost some serious money.
No, they reached out. They reached out to sex toy manufacturers, and I think most of those were donated.
Of course, they're like, yeah, we will.
Hey, honey, you want to make some money afterwards?
Did you want a specific color or texture?
Are we talking?
Well, just doing the math, if there was
I think
45
Bloomberg paid for it. I'm going with Bloomberg paid for it from his personal collection.
If there was 4,500 of them handed out to 500 people, everyone walked away with at least 9.
Donated by the Clinton Foundation. Yeah, I said it.
It's also real, man. Like, you could say it, but this crowd's like, yeah, probably. I believe it. I think Gary Johnson missed out on a real campaigning opportunity. By the way, just saying.
Yeah.
So moving on. Christie proposes shall issue reform and veto of gun control bills.
Did you guys read this one bill?
I didn't get to this one.
Okay, so you got to read this one bill, S816, would have established a personalized handgun authorization commission, which would set standards for smart guns in the state and keep a roster of approved firearm types that meet their criteria. Once approved, gun shops in the state would have to stock at least one model vetted by the commission on their premises at all times. So the state wanted to mandate that you had to keep an inventory of smart guns, or you were going to get fined $500 for the first offense, or $1,000 for the second offense.
How is that okay? How can the state legislate what you have to keep in stock? Is that like unprecedented, or
how big is the committee?
Well, Christie vetoed it, so it's kind of I don't know what they're going to change it now or what. But
what's amazing is that it made it that far. It made it to the governor's desk.
Right. Absurdity.
Rather easily too. It made it to the governor's desk.
Of course it did. New Jersey's full of morons from New York City. Listen, New Jersey should be split in half.
Hey, that's not fair. Anybody listening from New Jersey, we know you're your own special kind of moron, okay? So don't listen to John from the Gun Collective.
Listen. There's North Jersey and there's South Jersey. Some people would argue that there's a state in the middle, but listen, the people that are in North Jersey are the same idiots that are in New York City, and it's atrocious. And they bring this mentality out of the city into a state that is beautiful most of the time, unless you're in Newark, and they just crap all over it. It's awful.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Second Amendment people behind enemy lines in New Jersey, just like they're behind enemy lines in California. And New Jersey's gun laws are so backwards, not as bad as California, but they're not far behind.
Well, wasn't there like a big hubbub when the smart gun thing was coming out, like a year or two ago, that if somebody in another state was stocking or going to sell a smart gun, then New Jersey was automatically going to force people?
Yeah, the way the law was written is once smart guns were being mass-produced and they were available in the marketplace, that then New Jersey gun stores would have to carry them. Yes.
People were furious about that because it was like, wait a second, it doesn't even have to be for sale in New Jersey. It just has to be for sale somewhere.
Well, that's why that guy got so much backlash. That gun store, I think it was in Virginia, the guy that started carrying it.
It was Engage Armament out of Rockville. Andy, the guy that did it, he did it under false pretenses. They lied to him. And there was he got like a lot of his words got twisted around and all kinds of stuff. He's a good dude.
Oh yeah, we covered that story when it happened on here.
Yeah, Andy's a great guy, and they make some great rifles and do good things. But I don't. That was a whole debacle of its own, right? Like that was a complete mess, and on top of that, New Jersey's a mess.
Isn't the upper from Project Atrocious from them? Isn't it a chode?
Yes, yeah, it's a chode upper from Engage Armour.
It's the best AR upper name ever.
Yeah, 4-inch 5.56.
Following the dildo story.
Hey-o.
There was nothing 4 inches in that story. So whatever, Jake.
Okay, so Massachusetts AG releases new info on guns that are not. Okay, so guns that are not assault weapons.
Which is just as confusing as the first ruling she came down with.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's what they list on the website. So it says, any handgun on the current version of the state's approved firearms roster.
California residents will love that approved roster, too.
These are, to clarify what Jake is reading, these are the not assault weapons. Okay?
Yeah. Not assault weapons. Any .22 caliber rifle, which isn't an AR, technically .22.
I know yep.
Any Ruger Mini 14 or substantially similar model weapon.
Hey, don't you know that Ruger's going, yes!
Yeah, seriously.
It skated under again, and we're going to sell so many more.
Right. That's the only reason Ruger sells Mini 14s is in states that it skirts under the assault weapons ban. Any of the rifles or shotguns mentioned under the original 1994 list as exempt, so that the 1994 assault weapons ban list,
which was nothing fun.
Weapons operate by manual bolt, pump, lever, or slide action. Antiques, relics, or theatrical props. Semi-automatic weapons that cannot accept a detachable magazine that holds more than 5 rounds of ammunition. And semi-automatic shotguns that cannot hold more than 5 rounds of ammunition in a fixed or detachable magazine. Anything?
Yeah, so my 870 with a tube extension on it is an assault rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Massachusetts. Awesome.
So I asked our friend Matt DeVito for his comments on this. He couldn't make it tonight. He did write a few comments here. Let me read this real quick. He says, basically, the Attorney General is making legislation without knowing anything about the guns she's trying to ban. As with most common sense gun law, there's more emotion attached to the legislation than there is common sense. Her most recent addendum said that all 22 caliber rifles were legal to purchase, clearly not knowing exactly what a 22 is because she temporarily unbanned the same AR-15 rifles she previously banned. Since then, it's been updated. She's updated her stance again to make that 22 rimfire, not just 22 caliber. A clear example of an uneducated person making a knee-jerk reaction and not realizing the ramifications of her decisions. She's done nothing but blur the lines further and has gone as far as to say that now law enforcement aren't exempt either and can't purchase individual rifles for duty purchases.
Wow.
Purposes. Yeah. So.
Wow. Good luck, Massachusetts.
Is it? I'm going to say a thought that's potentially polarizing, but just is examining this. I wonder if I think the mentality that's gone into trying to clarify, aka muddy the water even more, is she legitimately, in her misled, confused mind, thinks she's helping.
I think she's opening herself up for more, for potentially overturning this in the courts, right? Because constantly correcting this shows how ill-prepared and that she lacks the knowledge to even put this forward. I mean, to me, first, 22 caliber, doesn't specify rim or center fire. And then in the next line, any Ruger Mini 14 or substantially similar model weapon.
Well, that's the same type of wording she used in the original enforcement notice. And there was what was it called? It wasn't a similarity clause or something like that, where if the rifle or if the firearm contained substantially similar parts, it was also banned.
Yeah, so because it was meant to cover guns that have been created and designed since 1994.
Right, so but it was like if it took an AR-15 trigger group, it was banned. Like all of these things.
Can they use Tavors?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think so.
Possibly.
I know DeVito said that M1As were going like crazy because they don't fall into this.
Yeah, I thought he said Tavors don't fall into it either.
I'm not positive, but what I do know is they need to get her out of there, and they struggle. Because I think as a percentage, there's 400 and some odd thousand. That's what Matt said. Gun owners in Massachusetts or something like that. Some like really, really small percentage of the population is actually a gun owner, and then on top of that, getting all those people to do the same thing is difficult.
Well, look at this. Here's a quote directly from her. "We could not be more explicit," she said. The law and our enforcement does not apply to pistols, does not apply to handguns. And then watch how she says this. It makes no sense. Does not apply to any number of weapons that are already out there available for purchase. What?
That is literally boilerplate crap to convince somebody that doesn't know that she's leaving. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not banning a lot. No, it's a sweeping ban on freedom.
Yeah, and then she says, contrary to what the governor has suggested, there's not confusion about this. There's no lack of clarity about this.
Oh my God. She's delusional.
Like literally in the statement right before saying there's no confusion, she added more confusion by saying it does not apply to any number of weapons that are already out there.
The governor is saying, whoa, 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 back the train up. You don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Here's another list of stuff I don't understand.
That's like going to a high school cheerleading team and being like, listen, I'm thinking about doing some work on my car. And I'm trying to decide, like, should I do snow tires in the winter and then like an all season for summertime? And they're like, well, which ones look the coolest? And and you're like, well, I mean, yeah, like the all season, or I feel like they have a better look, but I really think the snow tires would be effective in the wintertime with the adverse conditions. Oh, well, if they don't look cool, you shouldn't get them. You know, and like these are her responses to what she's banning, like based on lack of knowledge, information, and appearance entirely.
Henceforth, this shall be known as the cheerleader logic. It was a great explanation.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right. Moving along, public warned about explosive-laden trail cameras in Kentucky. Apparently,
Wow.
ATF is and state police are warning that 12 improvised explosive devices have been found in wooded areas of Harlan County.
Which, for reference, if you watch the TV show Justified on FX, it was
just going to say that.
County.
Yeah, but this story gets so weird. So they found the guy that was putting them out there, and they took him out to the woods to show them where the rest of the trail cameras were. He tried to run off, and then they shot and killed him. Like, seriously, this is like some type of CSI story here. So now the guy's dead that put them all out there, and no one knows how many more are out there. Like,
I bet you they were standing around in a group. The guy takes off, and one of the rookies drops him, and they all look at him like, "Bro, what the hell?"
Damn it, Carl.
Listen, like they like searched through this guy's garbage and stuff, and now let me preface this by saying I've had trail cameras stolen, so I get the frustration of having, if you have these out, people just like nabbing them or realizing they've had their picture taken and then stealing it so they don't get caught or something like that. That's really freaking irritating, and quit being losers, people. But this guy's like loading them with charges who've tried to tamper with them or take them or whatever. But they went through his trash and they found all like different stuff related to what they thought would be tampered game cameras, and they found a note amongst like some random trash, shotgun shells, firecrackers, and the note said, quote, "Broken camera for a broken soul."
Oh my God.
yeah, I think this guy was like, he was seriously pissed off. Someone stole his camera, and he blew one guy's fingers off.
Yeah.
One guy opened one up and got his fingers blown off.
Shouldn't be touching other people's stuff.
Shouldn't be touching other people's stuff. The guy's name was Mark Sawaf. S-A-W-A-F.
Sawaf? Sawaf?
Sawaf.
Sawaf?
So, if you have a game camera still up in Harlan County, Kentucky, you might want to be a little careful when retrieving it. Gun rights mom Jamie Gilt, you might remember her as the lady who, her son, while she was driving down the road, her son fished her gun out from under the seat and shot her in the back, issues a statement.
What?
Don't you remember the story?
Yeah, I remember the story, but like, what? Now is the time to talk about it?
The statement starts off with, "I guess it's time that I make a statement." No, Jamie, probably not.
That time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
It's precious, though.
Well,
it's precious. All right, go ahead.
She explains the whole ordeal, and she says, "I never claimed to be an expert. I'm just very passionate about keeping our Second Amendment rights, and I have conservative political views. Yes, I do realize what could have happened, but I also live in the reality of what could have happened, didn't happen. I was shot, I survived, and in the end I will be fine. My son is also fine. I've chosen to take this very negative and scary experience and make something positive out of it. I have gone through a lot of training since the accident and am nowhere near finished. I realize that many of the classes offered are seriously lacking, and I plan to do my best to improve that. I will be teaching classes as soon as I am ready, and I will continue to share my story in the hopes that it will help just one person make a different decision or get a little more training.
All aboard the Nope train.
And then
I actually want to take her class now that I know she's going to be instructing, because I'm going to have questions during the class only related to her getting shot by her toddler.
So
She's going to be like, okay, do you understand like the safety of draw and not sweeping with your muzzle as you pull out? And then I will raise my hand and say, so how exactly, like, had he had much exposure to guns before this happened? Or she'll be like, no, we're not talking about that right now. And then I'll be quiet. And then she'll say, and then you want to drive the gun out from like towards your target,
like
away
driving
from
a
you.
car?
And I'll say like, so like while you were driving, were you aware that he had unbuckled himself and then was rifling through your purse only to find the handgun? Because like the safety must have been pretty easy to click off if it was, after all, in fact engaged. Was it holstered inside of your purse? Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Okay, no, I promise I'll be quiet. And then she'll say, as you drive the pistol forward, you want to receive with your support hand as you drive with your pistol hand. And I'll say, now, did the gun come out of your son's hands when he fired? Was he able to control the recoil of a 45, or was it a heavier full size? It says it was a compact 1911, but you're not really telling us about the frame weight. Like, was it a steel frame or was it an aluminum frame? Was it a Taurus? And then
Did it jam?
like, was it only capable of one shot? And you're really thankful because, like, also your relationship with your son, was this related to him being curious, or had you had a fight that morning in which he was trying to I can't. Okay, it has to stop. But her last name is Gilt or Jilt. I don't know which one it is.
Who
There's
cares?
a lot
She's
to be
awful.
learned.
So one of the first comments is, now she'll be teaching gun safety to others. She should team up with the genius from the DEA to teach a safety class.
Yes.
And that's the guy that,
shot himself.
yeah, and right before he shot himself, he said, I'm the only one qualified in this room to handle this firearm, and then he shoots himself in the leg.
Does anyone else think that the way that she started the statement, where she said, I guess it's time that I make a statement, feels like she's the type of chick that would break up with the guy through a letter? Like, you're probably wondering where I've been.
No, I think she was really searching for a meme that day to share on her Facebook page, and she's like, I don't have a meme, so I guess it's time to make a statement. That's the way I kind of...
Well, there's no sorry your son shot you memes or anything like that that I've seen. But
that could be a great, en route into the greeting card, industry.
Well, and realistically, this whole ordeal happened before Harambe the gorilla was shot. So I feel like now there would be quite a few.
All right, moving on. Radical.
Nice. You don't want to talk about the best thing ever, Harambe? You don't want to talk about Harambe, Jake?
Hey, the Cincinnati Zoo on their Twitter or Instagram page told me to stop sharing Harambe memes. It was
guess what? Cincinnati's not here.
They had to delete their Twitter or something.
Yeah. Okay, so Radical Firearms steps over a line and makes things personal. So Radical Firearms, some of you guys may know them as ultra cheap AR-15 makers. You can get super cheap rifles and uppers, and
how much is super cheap?
Like $600.
Well, even like you could get a standard, say a 16-inch M4 profile barrel for $110, and it's and I think that's probably a chromoly or something.
Yeah, and they had like 300 blackout uppers and stuff, just going for a few $100 complete and everything. I mean, they had deals that you can't get anywhere else for the most part, and pretty mixed reviews from what I've seen. But anyways, they reached out to the primary and secondary forum, which is a forum for professionals that use their guns in situations where their guns and gear could literally mean life and death. So it's targeted towards law enforcement and the like. And so apparently Radical Firearms has their blue line of rifles, which are targeted towards the LE community, and they sent it out to a reviewer and the staff writer there, and he first did a inspection of the components before heading to the range and found things to be out of spec. Upper was out of spec, lower was out of spec, castle nut not staked at all, gas key not staked properly. It was able to remove with little effort. Tested the upper and lower, mating it with uppers and lowers from different manufacturers like Colt, Daniel Defense and stuff, and had to hammer the pins out every time. Out of spec parts were used there. Anyways, after hearing about the issues, Radical reached out to the reviewer and stated they felt he had got one of the hobby grade rifles and asked him to send it back and they get the right gun out. They never sent the right gun out, or never sent the second gun out. And then Radical's national sales manager drove over to the reviewer's primary employer. So, bloggers, podcasters, YouTubers, guys like us, we don't, except for John, don't do this as our primary income, our primary, vocation. All of us do other things or work other places, work for an employer. And this guy worked for this reviewer worked, for, doesn't say where, but he has a primary job. And so the Radical national sales manager drove over to the reviewer's place of employment, complaining about the review to, the guy's boss or something, because after the reviewer's boss called him into his office as a result of unprofessional and uncalled for visit from Radical Firearms sales manager.
Okay, so here's the thing. I saw this going around, so I picked up the phone and I called Radical Firearms myself. And I said, hey, this is John from the Gun Collective. I'm trying to find out what the hell your side of the story is here. What he was able to tell me was that now I'm not taking sides here, I'm just saying what I was told, okay? Radical Firearms basically claimed that this dude never actually got a review rifle. They were claiming that they've worked with this dude before, and his employer before, and they have a working relationship with this guy, and that what he reviewed was something that was purposely set up for simunitions, and that he's basically claiming all these things that were never meant to be part of a review. And here he's quote-unquote publishing this as a review and making these statements, and they felt that he was kind of making false statements. So they made a statement today, and it says, by now you are no doubt aware of a quote-unquote review that has been circulating. This isn't what happened. I'm paraphrasing here. It didn't happen that way. We don't know what motivated him. We have NDAs, legal relationships, etc., with that individual's place of employment. That's why we went over there. Long story short, we have to go through the chain of command, and we're still open to reviewers. I mean, heck, they on the phone, he said he was familiar with what I did. He's like, if you ever want to review one of our guns, we'd be happy to send one out. He also made it a point that they are well aware of some of the negative feedback that goes on about their products, and they're okay with that being out there because it's honest. And I just thought the whole thing was really interesting. That it's kind of a he said she said situation, but I don't know the people, the guy involved, but I don't know the guy from Radical. Today was my first time talking to him, and I just think that these are very drastically different stories, and I'm kind of wondering where the truth actually is in all this.
Yeah, it's hard to say. So
the only answer is to get them together and have them on This Week in Guns together, so we can get to the bottom of it.
This Thursday only.
Oh, you went to your host voice there for a second.
Welcome!
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday!
All day long at the Superplex, we've got primary and secondary staff writers punching you in the beep! And then we've got Radical Firearms bringing cheap guns to your living room.
FN America recalls recent SCAR 17S.
Uh-oh.
So according to the recall notice, this is due to some of these rifles have bolts that do not meet the hardness specifications.
So they called this out on their own, right? This wasn't
right.
Which is, I mean, that's solid for a company to do that.
It was about 500 rifles in FDE. So they good on them for calling it back. It's not a lot of guns. They're very recent production guns, so they caught it really quickly.
Actually, it was 2 days that happened over. 417 rifles shipped on July 28th and 29th.
There you go.
So it says these were made in Herstal, Belgium. Are all the SCARs still made over in Belgium?
I believe they are.
So, if you recently purchased a SCAR or run a gun store that may have one in their inventory, you may want to check that out. Glock 17M already being recalled by the first of the police departments to put them into service. I think this was the Indianapolis Police Department.
Yeah.
Recalled this due to some officers experiencing problems while dry firing, such as the slide flying off the front.
I'd like to see a video of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something went wrong.
So, we'll see. I
like how the firearm blog describes them as having teething problems.
Yeah.
This isn't. It happens every time. Something happens every time Glock releases a new model. It happened with the Gen 4s. There were problems initially. And apparently it's going to happen again with whatever model this is actually going to end up as. It's normal for Glock.
Former gun company execs sentenced for illegally exporting arms. We talked about this quite a while ago. This was company Saber Defense. They.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was 5 or 6 executives that pleaded guilty in 20. So this was a while ago in 2011. This was really early on in the show. They were originally charged with 21 counts of violating arms exporting laws and fraud because they had exported military-grade weapons such as rifle barrels, barrel assemblies, silencers, flash hiders, and they even tried to falsify documents and shipping materials so that they would look lawful, and they also maintained a fictitious set of business records to conceal its unlawful shipments.
Wow.
Yeah. So these guys are getting off kind of light, though. 18 months, 15 months, 13 months, and 13 months, and they're reporting to prison September 20 and will serve 1 year supervised release after their prison terms are up. They were originally charged with those 21 counts. A judge has sealed the case. Won't say why the reasoning for the varied sentences.
Hey, Judge, we'll give you some M16s if you seal the case.
So there's also a 5th man in London that they're currently trying to extradite for this as well.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, it's funny because, on these very few occasions where somebody actually gets prosecuted for some nonsense like this, they're barely doing anything to them.
Right.
Wow.
Here's what I got to say with this, and I'm sorry I missed what you guys started talking about, but was any of this like going to criminal elements? Did that ever come out in this?
I don't remember it ever coming out where this was going to or anything. I have no idea.
I find stuff like this really interesting because, our federal government, exports weapons that American citizens, we can't own. They export them to criminal elements in other countries that are used to overthrow democratically elected governments. Sometimes they end up in bad rebels' hands, good rebels' hands. I mean, we don't even know who these rebels are. It's just funny that our government sends this stuff all over the world. Our tax dollars pay for it. And, U.S. manufacturer, U.S. company exports something, and all of a sudden, they get their hand slapped.
They had like a $75 million contract with the U.S. government to supply M16s at one point.
Wow.
Yep. Very, very interesting. Browning sues Smith & Wesson over magazine design. Abs, you know about this? This has to do with Thompson Center's Compass rifles?
Yeah, I don't care. I think that rifle was a mistake, so. Like, it was just somebody else going, hey, what if we take something we've already done, do it in a different caliber, and give it a different name? Do you think anyone will notice? Because the Compass is a barely modified version of the Venture rifle, which has been very popular.
So the Compass, are the magazine issues here different between the two rifles, then? Or do they take the same mags?
I mean, probably. It's the same. It's like Ruger creating the LCP after Kel-Tec released their P3AT, and you look at two of them next to them on a table, and if they didn't have the brand marks, you're going, isn't that the same pistol? So, yeah, I don't know.
So apparently it violates a patent that was filed by Browning in 2013, so pretty recently.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of the magazines that were on what is it, the X-Bolt? A-Bolt? I don't remember. It's
X-Bolt.
similar. It looks similar to those magazines. I don't know if it is, but
The X-Bolt and A-Bolt took the same mags. The rifle was just configured a little bit different.
there you go.
So we'll see what happens there. Again, a 300 Blackout and a 5.56 rifle. Someone
Warning.
explain to me why that's a bad thing.
Yeah, those pictures are brutal.
Do you seriously want an explanation?
Well, for listeners that don't know how easily this can happen.
So a 300 Blackout cartridge will chamber in a 5.56 rifle. The projectile will not go down the bore without causing massive issues. It's
Like
quite simple.
Expansion issues, pressure issues, explosion issues.
This one tried to go down the bore.
It made it a couple inches. What's interesting, all these guys that were out there shooting this day, they all say none of them own a 300 Blackout rifle. And none of them had any 300 Blackout ammo. So they don't. Did they say what brand of ammo they were using? Because, I mean, I don't know, man. I've loaded a lot of 5.56, and I would tell you I would have to really not be paying attention to put a 300 Blackout in a round. And not to mention, have you guys ever, all the ammo you've ever bought, have you ever opened a box of ammo and found a different caliber inside of it?
Not once.
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
I found 308 or 380 auto ammo in a 9mm box before.
I think that would be
Really?
the most,
Yeah.
like, you would figure that would happen.
And it was startlingly scary, though, because I didn't see it upon inspection of the box. I grabbed it and started to load it in the magazine and realized that it was a micro 9mm. So,
You know, this is a good lesson for people because every box of ammo I get, and I always open it up, and I always examine every single round in that box before I ever take a round out of it to make sure they're all identical.
I definitely don't do that, and that's actually a pretty good practice to do.
Yeah, and I'm pretty OCD. I'm surprised I don't do that.
So I talked to a rifle manufacturer pretty recently, and they said that this is a way more common problem than most guys are willing to admit, to the point where they, at demos, have gotten to the point where if they're shooting a 300 blackout and a 5.56, they keep them in different areas so that the ammo doesn't cross-contaminate, because guys will... You'll get a group of guys passing magazines back and forth and stuff like that, like, hey, you're up next to shoot or something like that, and next thing you know, you've got the wrong round and the wrong rifle, and
all
kaboom.
the guns. Yeah, all the guns look the same. That happened to me at SHOT Show, at a manufacturer's range, media day at the range, and I triple checked. I'm like, okay, this is 5.56, and this is a 5.56 gun. Okay, because they had them right next to each other. I'm like, I don't want to blow these guys' guns up.
Yeah,
this is why you color code.
And the scary thing about that is at those kind of events, they're handing you loaded magazines.
Right.
So you can't necessarily ensure that whoever did that is not, because you do the same thing over and over and over for long hours, and you can get just burned out by it. And
not only that, but was that person paying attention while they were doing it? Because you're getting questions from 80 different people. That's tough, man. And
yeah,
I feel bad for the guys this happens to a point. Pay attention more.
Next time when it blows up in someone's face and they lose their eyesight, or they lose a finger, or they lose,
break out the red and blue tape like in Die Hard and tape them up.
Okay.
No. Okay. Trust. Do you trust me, John? I think you need to hold the trust bag.
I'm already irritated because I've seen this all over my Facebook feed, and I want to choke the guy that made this video. So the trust bag is like a douche sack. So like if you're like a 14-year-old girl and you want a gray bag made out of material that is full of lies, you go and buy this thing. Not only do they claim they're shooting a gun at it, right, in the general direction of it, they're clearly using blanks because there is nothing impacting the bag at all. There is zero recoil in the gun, and they're doing the bang 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 at the thing, and then they're like lightly pressing a knife across it, claiming it's like cut proof and all this other BS. It just makes me want to slap people. And I got on there because I saw it a few times, and I'm like, these are blanks, stop lying. Brah! Like, it just drove me up a wall. I hate it. Go ahead, somebody else.
I want to try it.
Some might say some might say you have trust issues, John.
Zing. You don't. You need to trust the bag.
Trust the bag. It's like when you fall and catch me. I mean, it's the whole exercise.
I would never do that with you guys. Never.
Why?
Maybe Ebbs.
Thanks.
So we're not signing up for the trust bag. It's only like what? It's ridiculously priced too. So it must be real.
What's it like? $5?
Yeah, as John Lovitz would say, acting brilliance in that video.
Come on, John, you got to buy this and shoot it and stab it and prove to us it's all a lie.
All right, how much is it? Where's
Money
the link?
Isn't the issue here.
Where's the link? Integrity's where's the link?
They didn't put one.
I'm just gonna start screaming it. Where's the link?
I'm offended. This should have been in the I'm offended section. We're all offended here. I'm not necessarily offended here. Somebody is. Internet erupts after dad posts pictures of daughter's first kill and of her taking a bite of its heart.
It's $150.
We're past that.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, I had to. It's $150 for a douche sack.
So
I'm sorry, I had to.
Can you do that? See, paying that and then test it on video and then write them about it. Be like, oh, you did it wrong. You're not supposed to like stab it with a knife. You're just supposed to like glaze over it with the knife.
Is that
Press
worth
it.
$150?
And you're like, I could glaze over my arm with a knife and it wouldn't cut my arm.
There's no material that can be made out of other than some fine Italian leather, which it's not, that should make it worth $150.
Like
Well,
chainmail.
I'm saying, is it worth it for me to spend $150 to shut them down?
I think it'd be an entertaining video. Yeah. I vote yes.
Well, we'll see what the audience thinks. Audience, if there is resounding yes, buy that. Like, if I get 100 of you that say go buy it, then I'll go buy it and I'll make a video and I will embarrass the crap out of them.
What he means is if 10 of you
No, I mean 100.
write in, only 10, he will spend the $150 to embarrass these guys.
Well, I tell you what, I buy nylon webbing all day long, and I have never encountered a nylon webbing that I couldn't take a knife to and cut right through it. So that, like, when I saw that guy, like, supposedly running that knife across that webbing, I was like, oh, that's ridiculous.
Right.
It's the most ridiculous video of the that I've seen this month.
I wonder how many they've sold, though, because of it. I bet it's a lot. I bet it's a surprisingly sad.
It's really sad if you could make just a total video like that that's half truths and sell a ton of bags. I mean, it's just disgusting to me.
But it's the world's most secure bag. It says it right there.
Can we stop calling it a bag and start calling it a douche sack?
So I'll split it with you.
Oh, yes.
Because I am offended because, like, I spend my days with textiles. I will split it with you because those guys are total douchebags.
Now we're talking.
This has to be like chainmail or something. From the way that it looks.
So it's just 100 people.
Just do it. Come on.
Whoa! Whose money are you spending, champ?
I'll do a third.
Wow. This is what I'm talking about. This is what happens. Well, I got a text message just now. Buy the bag. Shut them down.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Amazing.
All right, back to being offended. Internet erupts after dad posts pictures of daughter's first kill. Daughter Chloe ate her first deer, a young stag, shot it, and tricky downhill shot, blah, 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 and she took a bite from its warm, quivering heart, and the internet is losing its mind.
That's kind of amazing. I got nothing on that.
Is that a thing? Abs, did you bite into the heart of your first kill?
My first elk, I did.
You did?
Took a big old bite. It was warm. Like, it's one of those things where if you've experienced working with meat or venison or anything that you've butchered and you're used to like working with it when it's cold or it's been frozen already, for whatever reason, it was just really weird, like almost living sensation about it. And I took a monster bite too, and it was just like the guy that was with me was like, "Don't be a timestamp," and I was like, "Okay," and I just laid into it. It was all over my beard and stuff, and I gagged like 8 times trying to swallow it. That's what she said.
Nice. Hi, Mom.
In Ohio, from Upper Michigan.
Oh, man. So
All right.
I was told when I was out hunting that they were like, "Oh yeah, you totally got to do this. You got to eat the heart." I was like, "Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm doing that. No, I'm not doing it." This little girl just right at it. Looks like a good kill too, but that's a lot of meat.
Overflow. Way too many stories to cover this week. Catch these extra stories at the show notes, firearmsradio.tv, or you can support us at firearmsradio.tv/pledge. If you support us at the after show level, you can talk with us about these stories after the show. firearmsradio.tv/pledge. Amazon, contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link or by clicking the banners on the website. Please bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. We are to the full auto news segment, stories the real media won't talk about, and other crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story to call their own. While you guys are picking your stories, I want everyone to go over and check out JWB Military and Brass. That's jwbmilitaryandbrass.com. Actually, it's jwbmilitary.com. So JWB Military and Brass, punch that into Google, and you can get ready to load, freshly processed reloading brass, trimmed, ready to go, size, trimmed, all the goodness of ready-to-load brass at your fingertips. Also have really cool AR-500 targets. I shoot those at my range. A lot of fun to shoot steel targets. They have beefy half-inch versions, which will last a long time. Have big 16-inch gongs all the way down to miniature 2-inch targets. Check it out, jwbmilitary.com. All right, guys, who's ready?
I got one.
All right, Billy.
I'm very happy for the people of North Korea because North Korea has finally revealed its Netflix-type set-top box. Okay, so this is exciting, people. North Korea has now, a box that's going to be controlled by their intranet. So they have their own intranet inside North Korea, and it's going to give people access to the state-run networks. And rumor has it that, I cannot confirm this, but rumor has it that there will be an execution channel. So Kim Jong-un is going to be put all his favorite executions from his own personal video library on one channel. All right, I might have made that part up. But the real funny part in this article is that they're talking about that this is, it connects to their own internet because they don't have Wi-Fi. You actually have to plug a wire in. That nobody really has access to this internet except people in the capital. So it's kind of funny that they already made this set-top box, but yet no one really can use it. I'm just really would love to get my hands on this video library that's going to be streaming on this thing. I can only imagine the quality of USA Bad videos. How many different movies are there USA Bad? I'd love to find out.
I heard that there's one of the channels is going to be nothing but Kimspirations. And if you need to know what those are, you need to go look that up on Facebook and thank me later. And the other channel is going to be nothing but Harambe memorial videos.
Finally.
Because we miss him so much. And I also want to point out that the box is called the Man Bang. So just let that soak in.
I did miss that part. That was pretty crucial.
Yeah.
So apparently on this North Korean internet, at some point they had a rip-off of Facebook, their own version of Facebook on there briefly, before apparently some outside hackers hacked into it and made too many fake Kim Jong-il profiles.
That's
Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-il is long gone.
That's
ghost profiles.
That's why they hate us so much. We get them mixed up.
It was nothing but the marionette from South Park. Hans, how's it going, Hans?
Hello.
Oh,
that's terrible.
Team America: World Police, one of the greatest movies of all time.
So I have this one that says Kalashnikov opens store at Moscow airport. The Sheremetyevo International Airport is Moscow's and Russia's largest airport with about 31 million passengers yearly. So they're selling paraphernalia like fan gear, AK fan gear. I love AK like shirts like this in the Moscow airport, and then they're also going to be selling non-lethal models of Kalashnikov rifles and other Kalashnikov concern-owned brands, their hunting brand, Baikal, and some other stuff. But like the headline is, this is a Firearm Blog article. The headline is, "Can you just imagine the outrage if they opened at a Western airport?" I mean, if like Daniel Defense wanted to open an AR fan shop at LaGuardia or something like that, how much freak out would there be? They're celebrating this.
How many dildos would the protesters show up? That one.
In Russia, we have beer dildos for protest.
Somehow they find a real life ambiguously gay duo car. It's just a giant wiener. Ace and Gary show up.
But they have all kinds of different prototypes of the AKs instead of the nickel-plated ones, and they have AK-12s and
the AK-12 is a cool-looking rifle.
They have like 9mm AKs and then some crank-offs, some little bitches.
You know what I find amazing is that like they don't think anything bad will come of this.
Oh, like what confusion can
they don't really have the same security crap that we deal with.
No, I guarantee you the government probably loves us because it shows Russian strength. You know, Russia's all about showing strength, Russian pride. So, I mean, the Russian government loves the AK, so of course they'd want. I mean, they're probably going to want to put these in every airport in Russia.
Well, and even here's Vladimir Dmitriev, who's Kalashnikov's head of marketing. He says, Kalashnikov is one of the most popular brands that come to mind for most people in the world when they hear about Russia.
That's not wrong.
Yeah.
No.
Totally.
So for only 27,700 rubles, you can have an AK-74M.
Which is only, let's see, what's the conversion rate? Like 4,000 rubles to $1?
I don't know.
That doesn't sound right. That's like $9. That wouldn't be right.
That was
How much was it, John?
27,700 rubles.
About $417.
And
It's as much as a real AK over there, probably.
it shoots blanks apparently.
Really?
That's what the I had it Google translate the site to English. So if that's true,
that's cool.
Apparently, they have an online shop for these items. It's just shop.kalashnikov.com.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, but because it's one of the companies that's banned under the Obama sanctions, the hissy fit Putin took advantage of me and made fun of me sanctions, probably couldn't even have them imported to the U.S. Like, even though if it's just T-shirts or replicas or whatever.
All right, John, what do you got?
So I have a video of the worst possible gunfight ever to happen at ever. So it's hard to really explain this. So it's a security camera from a gas station. There's a car at a pump. The camera is over top the pump, looking over a car and then into the doorway to the shop. What appears to happen is somebody gets kind of salty, comes out of the shop, I believe. I'm going to click through here to make sure I have the timeline correct. So the car, and you can't see this until later, but the car actually has people in it. So dude rolls up, strutting his stuff. Guy is coming out of the convenience store. There appears to be some clearly eloquent discussion. The guy that walked up in a fury pulls a gun. The guy whose car is parked at the pump pulls out an AK pistol. It doesn't look like any shots are fired by the guy that was originally antagonizing. And then the guy with the AK pistol starts firing randomly off into nothingness, including shooting his own car. Then the guy fires back, engages, and then you realize that there's actually somebody inside the car who appears to have either taken rounds or taken glass shrapnel from the windshield taking hits. It is one of the most hilarious and just terrible gunfights I've ever seen. That's it.
It was the guy's girlfriend that was in the car.
Hmm.
I had seen it. I had seen this one earlier this week, and she hit what he left her in the car as the other guy's shooting the car, and he's shooting his own car with his girlfriend in the front passenger seat of his car. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's taking cover behind the car where she is actually in front of him.
She is his barricade.
Yeah.
Stay in here, baby. It's safe.
I won't shoot you.
Where's Bequisha, John?
Oh, man. Bequisha not here, okay?
I thought you were going to take, John, I thought you were going to take the up-and-coming rapper who got shot. Did you click into that one?
That's like every day in Detroit, isn't it?
I feel like any headline that starts with the four words "up-and-coming rapper," I'm gonna just glaze over.
Where is that one? I don't see it here.
Oh, did it get bumped out of here? Budding, right here, I'll highlight it. Budding teenage rapper gunned down in Maryland. You just gotta look at his picture and how he's holding his gun.
Holy crap. This guy is wearing his little sister's shoes and bandana. I can't. What town?
What's he up and coming in?
Well, not anymore. He was
He must be one of
Sunday.
He must be one of these new mumble rappers. It's just like yeah. What?
Yeah, what's
Like
going on
that's
in
how they
that
do it.
photo?
Okay, John, that's
New
enough.
rapper. No, shut up. I'm rapping.
That's enough. But his rapper name is Swipey.
Was.
I would take that name.
Swipey.
What do you?
In other news, Colonel Sanders' nephew accidentally reveals KFC's secret recipe.
What?
Not gun related at all.
Yeah, why is that in here?
KFC's secret recipe. Come on, it's been
This week
kept
in
a
guns,
secret.
talking about KFC. That's as bad as the dildo
The
story.
original handwritten recipe is housed in a 770-pound safe enclosed in 2 feet of concrete.
Not
guarded by
anymore.
video camera motion detectors.
It's actually,
So
I read it because I'm actually really curious because I love to make chicken. And I actually took a screen grab of the recipe because I think it's really funny when the reporter goes to the nephew's house and they're looking through a scrapbook, and then in the back of the scrapbook, there's the recipe.
Right.
Oops.
Yeah, family recipe. Yeah, and back
Billy,
of
can
the
you send the screenshot?
scrapbook had 11 herbs and spices.
We're gonna try that. We're gonna see if it's gonna be a thing.
So yeah, maybe I can start up a FCK restaurant. Something.
You know how
What's that stand for? FCK?
FCK? Jake?
You want to rethink that one, Jake? We're putting the U back in chicken.
So we can talk about former Navy SEAL settles with U.S. government over book feud.
Oh, did he actually settle?
He's got to forfeit $6.6 million back to the government.
That's not really
$6.6
settling.
million he has to forfeit back.
That's like the government just owning you.
Or yeah, it's government stealing it, I guess, basically.
Wait, who is this? I missed this.
It's the SEAL that wrote the book No Easy Day.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get with the program. I'm on 2 podcasts at once here, so I'm sorry. I'm really busy.
Wait, you do other podcasts? You see other podcasters? The Automag may be closer to rebirth. Anyone looking
Say
for
what?
the Automag coming back?
Where's that
Apparently.
one? These headlines don't help me find these.
Yeah, they're not very good. It's the third one down. Full
Got
auto. It's yeah, they got prototypes out. They got machines turning new barrels. They got 3D printing models. Apparently, they're getting closer. We shall see.
That's kind of
Star-
cool.
Starline Brass is producing a run of 100,000 cases for the 44 AMP cartridge.
Now somebody actually has to load that.
Right.
That's the biggest problem with a lot of cartridges that are up and coming these days is, it could be loaded by one company. People want options and they want it to be affordable. And if it's just one company, 9 times out of 10, it's just not affordable ammo. And that's
Right.
why cartridges like 50 Beowulf never took off. And
Yep.
458 SOCOM is still struggling to take real big chunks out of the market because it's just so expensive. And you've got 2 companies, maybe 3 loading it. You got to have like a Remington load, a Winchester load, stuff like that to really become a standardized thing.
Okay, we have to talk about the doomsday-ish cache of weapons found in a bingo hall in Texas.
I'm down for that. Let's play some bingo.
Yeah, hidden bingo hall bunker housed enough weapons to start a war.
That's awesome.
And it looks like a gun show. It looks like they're having a gun show at this place, but no, it's all the weapons they brought out of this hidden vault.
Oh my God, that isn't a gun show? I thought it was just like a stock picture.
No, they had thousands and thousands of rounds of ammo. They had $87,000 in cash down there, over 100 firearms, thousands of rounds of ammo, body armor. I mean, yeah, they have a little bit of everything. If you watch that video on the second link, it kind of takes you through it. And there's some more photos in that second link.
So these were recovered as a result of a sting operation on illegal gambling.
Right.
The guns were not necessarily illegal.
Well, that's always the interesting thing with the law. When you always hear about someone's caught with marijuana and they could have legally had a gun in their home that they legally bought and they were legally allowed to have it, all of a sudden that now becomes an illegal gun. Right. So you're right. If they were illegally gambling, those guns in their possession automatically become now illegal guns. So it's kind of fascinating how that works with the federal government.
Yeah, if you have 100 guns, don't be afraid if you're not breaking the law or, not paying your taxes, because I'm not saying the IRS would find a way to confiscate your guns, but they will confiscate your guns.
Says police believe that $15 million in illegal funds have been laundered over the last 4 years through this bingo hall and others that are, I think, owned by the same family. So it seems like it was maybe a big organized crime ring that they broke up here.
If you look at the mugshots, it looks like a classic B-movie casting of who would be a criminal in a bingo hall.
Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't.
So, how do we not say anything about the vice consul of Russia who was mugged and at gunpoint in a traffic jam, pulled the mugger into his car and shot him with his own gun? In Russia, when we go to Olympic, Russia come with us.
Right.
We take Russia to the street. So the mugger gets pulled in the car and experiences his own personal hell. The vice consul had his wife and daughter in the car with him, and this wasn't even supposed to be in a slummy area or whatever that means in Rio, but it was right near the Olympic Village and stuff. And but apparently the vice consul of Russia is actually a Brazilian native, and so there's reports allegedly that maybe the guy is a BJJ expert or something.
What does that even mean?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Jake, what else would it mean?
Gall.
Hey, I'm not very good with abbreviations tonight. Just
I'm still looking at the bingo hall pictures. Why are all these why is everything painted like Skittles color?
Wait a second.
You see all these like ammo cans? They're all like Skittles color, and we have guns painted white, and
yeah, it's really weird.
it is. It's a little.
I would say they were color coded based on caliber types or like whatever. It would just be a quick grab.
You see all the Star Wars figurines in there too?
Where?
It's in the back of the picture. And
oh my goodness, the big expensive ones.
It was also the place was called Paradise Bingo Hall, so it might have gone along with some sort of theme. Like colorful toucans carrying AR-15s and state defense.
You know when all this stuff gets confiscated and it's supposed to go up for auction? Have you guys ever heard about these auctions anywhere? Right?
No, because I would be at all of them.
I would be there in a heartbeat, right? You never hear about these things. This stuff just like goes into a black hole.
AKA the back of some cop's car.
It goes to some CIA warehouse, and then this is the stuff they ship to places like Nicaragua.
That was a great country choice.
We cover it all here.
We're good.
I'm satisfied, Jake.
Man, this wasn't you, Ebbs, was it? Man arrested for impersonating Jesus after he was spotted walking with a giant cross on his back.
You get arrested for that?
Apparently. In the UK, you can.
Well, you're not allowed to have anything over there, including fun.
It's UK, mate. That was Australia.
Hey, whatever. Stick to Russian. Okay.
He went for it. Gave it the old college try.
At least in Russia, we have fun with prostitute and bear. In UK, you have fun with bowl of soup. The end.
All right, new ways to support this show. Go to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. Click the pledge button at the top of the page there, and we got new ways you can support not just this show, but every show on the network. Click into your favorite show, pledge your support at the level you're comfortable with, and support pro-gun radio like This Week in Guns. Again, the after show level, you can support that get to hang out with us after the show every other episode, and then we have swag boxes, large and small, filled with t-shirts, morale patches, stickers, and much, much more. Just picked up some game lights, some red game lights for spotting game this hunting season. They're going into some of these supply drop boxes, and also have some machetes that are going out to guys that have been subscribed here. So check that out. Firearmsradio.tv, click pledge, and select This Week in Guns and pledge your support. Helps out the show, and we appreciate it. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. And, you know what? I have to grab a cleaning mat here.
How do I get one of those machetes?
Yeah, that's all I'm concerned about. And now that Jake's gone,
who else
we can talk about
machetes?
all kinds of other horrible things.
I don't know.
I'm back.
I'm back, so the AR-15 cleaning mats are in. I'll back up here.
Jake, you just got super choppy.
Yeah, those are called the bitrate mats, and they completely shut down the bitrate.
So yeah, these are in stock.
Order those with your dial-up modem.
PatriotPatch.co.
I promise you they look better than they do through the live YouTube feed.
You need at least a 14.4 modem. Okay.
So, yeah, these came out great. Really awesome mats. Also have the AK mats, which also are pretty sweet. And, head on over to PatriotPatch.co. And you can also check out the new pre-orders over there as well.
You can do the pre-orders on AOL?
Oh
AOL.
my God. GeoCities.
No, not
Go to
really.
geocities.patriotpatch.ohmygodhowoldisthiswebsite.com.
If you want, If you want to see some of these mats and videos, NSZ85 over on YouTube, he's using some of them in his top-down videos, so you can see them up close. He's got a couple with the AK mats already in there, so if you want to see a high-quality video with them, check out some of NSZ85's newest videos.
Dig it.
Well, that brings us to part of the show where we see what these guys are up to. So, John, what is up and where can people connect online?
Oh, my goodness. Lots of things are up. I just got back from Daniel Defense. We did some video work with them, got a couple NADA reviews in the pipeline. Not sure when they're going to come out, but got a couple of those coming out. You'll start seeing them more on TGC News. We did a factory tour. They gave us unprecedented access to Daniel Defense in their factory, which was incredible. So that's going on. Lots of travel still, lots of good things, rocking and rolling. And if you want to find me and see what I'm all about, you can check out The Gun Collective all over the internet. Just punch that into Google. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Full30, Tumblr, Snapchat, all those.
You do Tumblr?
Yes.
Okay. Ebbs, what's up? And where can people connect online?
Pops is out of town for the next week, shuttling his mom and aunts and uncles around Yellowstone up north, so I'm running the shop and doing trigger jobs and doing some work with Mr. Patton and moving, trying to keep my head above water, and that's end of story.
Very cool. Any new stuff over at House of Arms?
No, just business as usual. And
does it pick up this time of year when hunting?
Actually, usually the last week of July. It's been really crazy for almost a month here now, and it's like, I don't know. Growing up, I had one hunting rifle for the seasons that I would hunt every year, and it was a Winchester Model 70 300 Win Mag. Used it for everything, and if I was hunting smaller stuff, I'd use a smaller bullet and reload heavier for bigger stuff, whatever, even elk when I came out here. And nowadays, it feels like people they're like, I want to try hunting with this caliber. I want to try hunting with this caliber. I want to try hunting with this caliber. And so people change every year, which is great for us. And they like to collect stuff, and because the TC Encore system is orientated around multiple barrels and caliber systems and stuff like that, barrels are flying out, people are buying frames, and I've got 4 trigger jobs waiting on me that need to get out before the beginning of next week, and they just keep adding up. It's like people get close to Labor Day, and they start thinking about practicing or open their gun safe for the first time in 9 months, and realize they need some action. So, yeah, picks up quite a bit.
Very cool. Billy, what's up, and where can people connect?
You can always find me at Amidst the Noise on Instagram, and my company Boxer Tac, Facebook, Instagram. Got some big news coming out next week. We've been working on this product for about 18 months, and we're finally to the point to where we want to kind of show everybody what we've been doing. We can actually go into production next week on it. So we'll be, it's the first time we've actually announced a product before it's actually been ready for sale, which is kind of new for us. Normally we don't do that, but we've been holding back on this product for so long. I can't wait anymore. I got to share it with people. So that'll happen next week, man. Just all sorts of new stuff. We got another big product coming out in September too. So a lot of new stuff.
Awesome. Very cool. What's your website again?
BoxerTactical.com.
Well, that about wraps us up. You can leave your feedback by commenting on the YouTube video, Facebook video, show notes, however you watch or listen. Don't forget to send those messages over to John, telling him to buy the bag. I already see several in the Facebook feed and one on Instagram. So buy the bag, John.
We need 100.
No, we don't. You got 2 people coming in on this with you. Come on.
I said we need 100. We need 100.
Leave us a review, however you listen to the show. Contribute to the show by using the Firearms Radio Network Amazon affiliate link. bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon, and please check out the new firearmsradio.tv/pledge page. Pledge your support for This Week in Guns. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Ebbs.
Thanks, man. Good being back.
And thank you, Billy.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.